Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be hanging out with you every Monday through Friday inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning and making the most of your day. So big ups to everybody out there enjoying this fantastic Friday. Happy TGIF. So happy to have you here with us. So we thank you so much for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Inside the Cafe Kubal studios, like I mentioned, Cafe Kubal proudly bringing you their amazing coffee, teas, and chais, as well as their fantastic food all throughout the day at these locations: 3501 James Street and 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as finding them inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at their drive-thru at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, and out in their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building that looks like coffee being poured right at the mecca of Manlius at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today. It's great to listen and watch Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with your favorite cup of Joe or chai or whatever you fancy. So make sure you head out there today. Inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, we have a great show lined up for you today. Inside of Mom and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', letting you know the list of topics for the day. What's poppin' today inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is what's poppin' every Friday. We have our signature 3 segments that start the show off. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, followed by Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, with today's topic being focusing on always paying it forward. The top dog of the week is here with us in a special video, and that is Levell Sanders being named the head coach, no longer the interim, but the official head coach of the Binghamton Bearcats men's basketball team. He's our top dog of the week, being honored in our video special picture-in-picture this morning around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. A few weeks ago, I spoke with Levell Sanders on video and said, let's speak it into existence, let's take the interim off of it, and I actually wrote a note that said interim on it, and I had the interim thing crossed out, and I held that up, and I said, we should bring this note to your athletics director. So happy that this finally happened for Levell Sanders, and great to see that this news is official for him with a 5-year deal, bringing him through 2027, I believe. So, with that being said, we'll round out today's show. We always do something with the Marywood Pacers. This time we're featuring Marywood student-athlete alum Ross Turetsky. Joins the show later on at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, about an hour from now. So, with all that being said, plenty of show coming up for you where sports meets that thing called life. And we thank you so much for being here with us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We'll start the show off with the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. As I had mentioned before, it's time to jump into that Annoying Moment of the Week. And we appreciate you being here for that as we get set to join you for some fun inside of the Annoying Moment, as always.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The Annoying Moment of the Week.
I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So happy to be here with you. So the Annoying Moment of the Week here, and I have to say that there's a lot of things that give me an opportunity to call them the Annoying Moment. Let me say that much. So there's a lot of things, and my Annoying Moment of the Week this week is going to be... I'm deciding between a couple, still at the final finish line here. My Annoying Moment of the Week this week is going to be a couple things. I guess I got to choose a couple things here. And so I would say excuses. Excuses is my first Annoying Moment of the week, right? Because I don't like excuses. You know, when you do something wrong, you do something wrong. Now, you can tell people why. You can give them a reason. But my Annoying Moment of the week being excuses, because here we go. Okay? I don't like when people blame other people for their problems. I don't like when people blame other people for why they do things. Because you're in your body, you have your mind, you have your brain. And if you have your wits about you, then it's on you. So my first annoying moment of the week is excuses. Don't tell me you did something because somebody... No. You made the decision to do it. You chose to do it. Now, somebody may have tried to get you to do it, but you ultimately chose to do it. And when you choose to do something, it's on you. And so to me, that's one thing that annoys me. When people make excuses like, oh man, blah, 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 I was here and then there was that. No. You chose to make the decision. And when you choose to make the decision, if you chose to do it, then you can choose to walk your way out of the problems that you caused by it. That's how I look at it. My second annoying moment of the week and I know that I've said this before, but it's getting astronomically ridiculous. Gas prices. Like, seriously. $370, $340? My dad asked me this question yesterday. He goes, Daniel, don't you find it interesting that you could be driving and like gas is $3.71 and then you drive 20 minutes down the road and it's $3.59? He goes like, why is it that way? How come gas is so different? And then some places where it's the same company, but because they're independently owned, they're different. So, like you go to a gas station, I'll leave them unnamed here, but let's say you go to a gas station and it's $3.79. And then you go to the same company. Let's say you go to a gas station in Syracuse and it's $3.79 for this company. Then you see the same company in Manlius and it's $3.62. And you think to yourself, how does the company have it different? It's not, you don't go to McDonald's and it's like $1.50 and then you go to other McDonald's and it's $3.75. So how can gas companies do something like this? But I think the question we all ask ourselves all the time is, how can gas companies do anything that they're doing? Because they constantly are getting away with doing whatever they want. And it frustrates me because my car should fill up at about $30. Not even $30. It's actually supposed to be 20 something. And now my car fills up over $30. I was filling up my rental car when I was down in Disney, and it was a car. It's not an SUV. It's not a giant truck. I'm filling up this car, and the car was ridiculous. It was like $30 when I got to 8 gallons, and I'm sitting here like, this is insanity now. It's insanity to see how much it costs to fill up a car. I feel like I'm driving an 18-wheeler. I feel like I'm paying for diesel at this point. Remember, you drive by and you'd always see the diesel price, and you're like, oh man, I feel sorry for that guy. And now I look at the diesel prices, and I'm like, wow, I feel sorry for myself. So, like, you know what I mean? The diesel price is like 2 cents more. So, it's just ridiculous to me to be in a situation where we are right now with gas prices. And listen, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care this, that, and the third. All I care about is that this is wrong. I care about the fact that it's, we work hard for our money. We've been through a lot. We should not have to be paying more in gas prices. And by the way, while we're on it and everything going up, I paid like $4 for milk. I paid like $4 for almond milk. It was like $2.99 and now it's $4. So, I feel like after everything we've been through and this sickness making us all worried about COVID, and do we get a shot, and are the shots safe, and staying in the house, and your business has to close or your business has to stay open, but it can only open in this way, and this, that, and the other, to go through all of that and now be in a position where everything's more expensive. It's just, I feel like we keep getting hit with waves of stuff that are completely unfair and inconsiderate. And if there was a government that actually cared about all of us, I feel like they would do something to regulate the prices and take care of what they need to take care of. They waste money on everything else. Why can't they spend some money on making sure that they can keep our prices the same? They have the power to do a lot of different things. And it seems like nowadays it's only the power to abuse us and keep us down and not to help us. So it would be wonderful if they would actually look out for their people and stop looking out for their interests. That would be amazing. We elected them. It's time that they start representing us. I don't care who they are. I don't care what party they're in. I'm speaking to everybody. Because if we're one nation under God, we need to start acting like it. So, that's my piece. Stop making my milk $4. So, I never thought in a million years that Syracuse's gas would be almost $4. $4. Like, that's, you know what I mean? There's families that are struggling right now that cannot afford half of that. So knock it off, man. Stop trying to keep everybody home and stop trying to control everybody. It's not right. It's not right and it's not okay. And I got to say something about it because I'm a broadcaster, so I can't sit here idly by and say that I don't feel like people are being controlled because I feel like we are. And I serve God. So that's where, and he doesn't control me. He just loves me. That's how I feel. Those are my annoying moments of the week. When you do something wrong, own up to it. And just the hope that this country starts taking care of its people. That's all. Because we're working really, really hard. We're working really, really hard. And I know really, really good people that will not give up. And I won't give up. So I just hope that things start being done for us and not against us. How are we supposed to ever feel at peace when the powers that be make us feel like we're just mice in a maze? So, I love you, God, and I know you got this. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and we are taking a step aside. On Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we'll come back with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic with Juanita Ward, always paying it forward. And that comes up right after this fast break where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you inside the Cafe Kubal studios in Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, New York. inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location, and at 343 Fayette Street with their expanded parking lot and double-decker Cafe Kubal right there for you. It's like an extra shot of coffee there. 2 floors for you on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius. So make sure you head out there today. With that being said, we're inside of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, which I'm always excited to have here with my co-host, Miss Juanita Ward. She is a mentor. She is a teacher. She is a follower of Christ unapologetically. She is an author, a public speaker, a former student athlete and professional athlete, and she brings it in so many places. You know, when they say, how can you do all this stuff and be successful at all of it? Well, when you got God on your side, God puts you in a lot of different places because there's not just one nook or cranny that needs some help. And Juanita knows all about that, and that's why I appreciate her so very much. So, with that being said, inside of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, it's time to bring in Juanita Ward, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. This segment of Lead comes to you every single Friday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm joined by my partner once again, Miss Ward. How we doing?
Hey, Dan. How's it going, man?
It's going very well, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. God has been speaking to me so much this week, and he speaks to me all the time, but I don't know, I feel like this week it's been so clear. It's been establish your value or value will not be established. It's I love you. It's don't put up with something that you wouldn't do to somebody else. It's make sure you're helping people. It's make sure you're focused on the things that matter. Make sure you're telling me thank you when I wake you up in the morning. Make sure that you're looking around you and seeing the blessings that you have. Don't complain because you don't have it like somebody else has it. There's so many things that God's been saying to me this week, and I just think it's so beautiful. So I wanted to start the show by telling him thank you.
Man, it's an awesome, awesome thing when we can wake up in the morning and say thank you to Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for all that you were doing. Thank you, Jesus, for just allowing us to see this day. That's the first thing. For giving us breath in our body to see this day. What would we do if we did not have God on our side? Like, there's so much stuff going on in the world today. There's so much stuff going on in the world today. Every time you look around, it's like, this can't be happening. Like, it's like everything has escalated. And now more than ever is the time to truly, truly fall on your knees and say, God, I thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you just for the small things. You don't have to give me nothing big. If you don't ever give me anything big in my life, God, I thank you for the small things, because you said in your word, do not despise the small beginning. So I thank you. And that's my prayer every morning, Dan. And it's so sincere. It's so real, because I need God to know that I'm way more than appreciative just for the little crumb that he gives me from the table. I'm so humbled and grateful. Thank you. Thank you, God.
You know, and that's the thing. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Lord, thank you. Thank you for waking me up inside of my internal clock, because I didn't set my alarm this morning. And I woke up, you know when you do that wake up, where am I? But I did that. I woke up on my back too, and I think I fell asleep on my stomach or on my side. I woke up very casual, and so it's just funny how you wake up like that. There's a new TV show, Moon Knight, coming out on Disney Plus in March, and I feel like I was Moon Knight last night. Because I went to bed laying one way, I woke up, flipped over the other way, and here I am, and like my internal clock woke me up, and it just makes me think of, in the TV show Moon Knight, he's like, I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams. And I was just like, that's how I feel right now. Am I awake? And as soon as I opened my eyes, I went, I didn't set my alarm today, did I? So in those moments, But yeah, I mean, life is good, and God, again, even though I didn't set the alarm, He helped everything to work out okay. So there's a lot of beauty in the panic because, God always finds a way, and, you got to just, I need more sleep, and this is my reminder of that. But no, I mean, it's such a beautiful thing to wake up in the morning, and I'm sorry for the times that I haven't. I apologize, God, but to say thank you. And this morning that I just jumped out of bed. So let me say, God, thank you for waking me up today. Above all things, thank you for my life. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends that are family. Thank you for Lily, my little girl. Thank you for all of the wonderful people that I get to work with in business. Thank you that I get to do what I love and love what I do. Thank you that snow is beautifully pure. Thank you that the sun is shining. Thank you that it is the weekend. And thank you that Juanita Ward is one of my closest friends. So, with that being said, Miss Juanita, our topic today is always paying it forward. Always paying it forward. Not just paying it forward sometimes, and not just not knowing what it is, but to always do something for somebody else. Not because you want to get something, but because you want to do it. Just because you want to. I love holding the door open for people. I love saying, hello, how are you today? There's something about being able to, there's something about the hope that you can make a stranger smile. So topic today is always paying it forward, because in today's world, now more than ever, I feel like we need to show each other that we care about each other. And I'd love to get your thoughts on paying it forward.
Dan, it's true. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We need to show each other now more than ever that we care about each other. Those words are so profound, more than you know how profound they are. We need to show each other now more than ever how much we care about each other. If we all come together and unify together, there's power, there's strength in the unity. There's strength in allowing someone to know that you care, allowing someone to know that you're there, giving someone an ear to let them know that it's okay. Sitting down at the table and letting our children know that they are loved, sitting at the table, eating dinner with your wife or your children or your husband, or it's times like this, sitting at the table with your family and just talking about nothing but laughing about everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something extremely extravagant. It's the simple things, the small things that allows people to understand that, listen, I hear you. I understand. I love you. I care about what you care about. I'm excited about what you're excited about. It may not really excite you the way that it excites somebody else, but if it excites you just a little bit, then that little spark will boost somebody, will catapult someone into their next. Just being at a restaurant and, paying for somebody else to have some ice cream. Or, as you said earlier, holding the door open for someone. Or walking into a store and just saying, hello, how you doing? It's good to see you. Nice smile. I mean, you may not be able to see behind the mask that they have a really good smile, but I'm sure you can look at someone's eyes and tell if they're smiling or not. I can. It's little gestures that really move someone. It's little things that really get people to see that there's something inside of them that's great. It's the smallest things. And that's the reason why I opened up when I said earlier, the word says, do not despise the small beginnings.
Yeah.
Because if we despise the small beginnings, we will miss a big opportunity to impact something.
Yeah, and that's the thing, how impactful you can be. There's, and with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, not only do I have lead, but I have a thing called The Light Between Us. And it's a video series with team members from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay telling their stories. There is a story I am releasing next week that I implore everybody to watch, because I believe that her story is going to change people's lives. She moved me in a way I can't even describe, and the adversity that she has gone through is unimaginable. But she's done it. And I want to give a little, going off of what you said, I want to give a little kind of sneak peek into it in the sense of she's 29 years old. She looked at me during the conversation and she said, I'm finally happy. And I said, Ariel, some people in their 70s and 80s right now can't even say that. And you went through the darkness and saw a great light. And you're 29 and you're telling me you're happy? I wasn't fully happy at 29 and I didn't go through half of this stuff. And everything she went through, she never gave up. I go, you realize that deep down inside you loved yourself? You believed in something and you let God help you. Even though you might not have known him, you let him help you. And I told her, I said, you've been slapping God's hand away for 29 years and he has never left. How far do you think your life's going to go now that you're reaching out and taking his hand? And I can't wait to share that story because it will bring you to tears. It brought Ariel to tears and it moved me beyond any story that I have ever heard and anybody I've ever gotten to sit with. You have no idea what a simple thing can do for somebody. Her telling her story on video. You holding a door open. You buying somebody ice cream. You know, I get compelled sometimes when I'm in the line. I'm like, hey, pay for the person behind me. And I had somebody tell me one time in line, they're like, sir, they ordered a bunch of stuff. Like, you know, you just got, they got like, I said, I don't care. I didn't stutter. Pay for their meal. You know, well, sir, you just got a drink. They got 3 meals. I don't care. That's fine. I didn't say pay for it as long as it's $9 or less. I said pay for it. You want to know why? Because I don't know who that person is behind me, but I feel compelled to do this today, which tells me that they need it. Something about today, something needs to happen. Something told me to do this, so maybe they need it today. Maybe they need the money. Maybe they just need to know somebody cares. Maybe they just lost their dad. Maybe they're rushing to work. I don't know what it is, and I don't care what it is. I want to help. Just let me. You don't know what people are going through. I've been on both sides of that. When I'm talking to somebody, I had no idea what they had just happened in their life. And there's times where people talk to me and they have no idea. I just said it to somebody a couple days ago that was causing stress for no reason. I said, you're creating fake problems when I got a friend who's battling ALS and I just found out one of my friends had a mini stroke. I don't have time for this conversation. I don't. Because people need to understand we all have baggage. We all have issues. We all have things that we are working through. Some of us are farther along the trail than others, but every single one of us has been tested. So when you pay it forward and you smile at somebody, Juanita, it changes the game. And let me tell you something about this story about Ariel. Her life changed when someone brought a Bible to her that was a total stranger and left it for her. She told me that was the turning point of her life. You never, ever, ever, ever know how much somebody needs you until you reach out your hand and say, can I help? And yeah, some people are going to slap it away. But you never know how much somebody needs you until you just say, hey, can I help you with that? Can I bring the groceries to your car for you? Would it be easier if I helped you out? Just walk up to somebody who's struggling and saying, take my arm. Let me help you to your car. People will never forget that moment. I have never forgotten the people that have been there for me. It doesn't matter how many years go by. You never forget the people that stretch out their hand.
In the midst of the water becoming extremely hot, in the midst of a boat trying to stay afloat, there's always a hand on both sides. One trying to stay above the water and the other trying to steer the boat. At any given time, there's always a hand reaching out for help. At any given time, there's always a hand reaching up to be saved. At any given time, there's always a hand that's reaching down to make sure that you don't go all the way under.
Yeah.
It was a poem that I had gotten a long time ago. And I thought that it was so profound for a time such as this, because the inspiration behind the poem was simply this. There's this long hand coming out of heaven, this big, muscular, bruised, scarred, hole nailed in the hand. Veins are popping out to show the strength of someone that has truly been through the fire but still did not get burned. There was a muscular hand reaching out of heaven so far down, and all you saw was the sweat that was coming off the hand, as if the fingers were straining and stretching to reach out to save both the one that was on the boat and the one that was sinking. The reality of the poem and the vision that was just given in the illustration is this. If you just reach, God has enough power and enough strength to pull you out. All you need is a little bit. That's all we need is a little bit of strength. Just a little bit of strength to just reach. You never know what one simple hello would do for someone. You never know what one simple thank you would do for someone. You never know what a simple wave would do, a simple smile. You never know what a simple pause would do. And most importantly, if we can become quiet and just listen, you never know what a simple ear could do. And we're talking about paying it forward, not necessarily with money, but what I'm talking about when I say pay it forward is more with your actions.
Yeah.
Because people look at actions more than they really listen to your words. So when we can become quiet and just listen, our body should say, I truly care about what you are saying. I know that you need to reach. That's the reason why I'm here, to stretch out my arm, to pull you out. So as the statement was made earlier, it is time for us to care now more than ever. It is time for us to have faith now more than ever. Because as I'm reminded, Dan, of Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I just want to remind somebody, you don't see the hand reaching out, but I can assure you that God has some people here that are truly reaching out to help. The hand that God is reaching out is the hand that is inside of us that's reaching out to pay it forward for somebody else.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with your opportunity to push somebody forward? What are you going to do with the opportunity to pay it forward? Just as that hand was reaching out, bruised and scarred and banged, and the veins are popping out and the hole is literally big as the sun. You can see right through it. But yet, the hand says, I have more strength to give to you than you have strength to give to me. Pay it forward, because your blessing is in helping somebody else see what's inside of them.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. I get excited to help other people. I get excited. I love it. I love it. I love talking to somebody and hearing them open up and feel comfortable and tell their story. I love that. If God says you are my bridge, fine. If I can help get people to heaven, let's go. I want a party up there. I want as many people as we can. God reached a hand down this morning and said, hey, wake up. So I know he's in my life. I know he's there. I know he doesn't forsake me. I know he doesn't forget me. I know he doesn't ever say, Daniel, no, I don't know that name. That's my God. Always there. When I'm good, when I can be better, and in between. He's always there. He's the God you can have a dance party with. He's a God you could sing with. He's a God you could cry with. He's a God you could laugh with. He's a God you can lift a mountain with. He's a God that makes the impossible possible. There's only one. There's only one. And man, the less this world talks about him, the worse it gets. I told my parents this years ago, and I say it all the time. I say, you realize the less that we talk about God in this country, the more hell we go through? The more pain we suffer and endure? The more we try to pull God out of society, the more society becomes unsustainable. There is a direct correlation between not talking about God, not praising God, not loving God, and trying to cancel God out, and badness, tragedy, negativity. Pulling God out of life pulls the life out of us. And it's on a small scale and a big scale. I've been in relationships before, and God is love. Love is God. And when God's not a part of my relationship, there's no love there, and the relationship is very negative. And on a large scale, let's not say the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's not talk about God today. Let's not put God in this. Let's not thank God. Let's laugh it off. Let's ask a coach about how good his team is, and when he talks about God, let's cut the feed. Look at the world now. It's amazing to me that when people say, why is this happening? And I look and I go, the less we talk about God, the more problems we have. The more we talk about God, the more uplifting we feel. Huh. Sounds pretty easy to me. When God's at the center, there may be a tornado, but there's calmness in the eye. When God isn't here, there's chaos. I will always keep God first. I will always keep God at the center. And I will always remind people, if your life is spinning wildly out of control, do you have God? Because Juanita talked about a boat. And if the winds and the water are spinning your boat out of control, don't you think it's time to give the wheel to somebody that knows better than you? That's all I'm saying.
You know, Dan, I want to read this as we close, because I think this is so important. I mean, very, very important. And you mentioned something that was extremely, extremely key. So much is going on because God has been left out. So much is going on because people don't want to speak about the name of Jesus Christ. So much is going on because people tremble when they hear Jesus. And we have to really, really uplift the name of Jesus. And we have to speak about it openly, just as you allowed the show to speak about it openly. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity and for this moment, because you get it. You truly get it. And Dan, as we get ready to close, I just want to read this.
Yeah.
Because this is so key. And especially for a time such as this, where God is left out of so much. God is left out of so much. But when you leave God out, when you leave Jesus out, this is what happens. And we talk all the time about getting a relationship with the Bible. Because the Bible is the basic information or basic instructions before leaving earth. You have to have basic informations. You have to have instructions to assemble anything. If you want to put the training wheel up, you have to have instructions, or else your baby will hurt him or herself. So father assembles the training wheel, or mother assembles the training wheel for their child so that the child does not hurt themselves. And the parent assembles the training wheel so good, they follow the instructions to the max. They don't skip from A to D or from B to E. They go step by step by step by step, because they want to make sure that the training wheel does not fall apart, because they care so much about their baby. They care so much about their little child, and they don't want anything to hurt the child. And God cares so much about us that he said this to us in Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also will reject you from being priests for me. Because you have forgotten the law of God, I also will forget your children. The more they are increased, the more they are sinned against me, I will change their glory into shame. So what am I saying here, and what is the word saying here? When we leave God out, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
When God is not followed, when we don't follow in the footsteps of Jesus, we lose our way. When people leave God out, when Jesus is not the solid foundation in the house or in your life, that's where everything crumbles. It is much easier to go through the tests and trials, as James 1:12 tells us, when you have Jesus, when you have God in your life. But without God, people are destroyed because they have no guidance. They don't know the instructions to life. They don't know what the instructions say to do. You cannot have a training wheel assembled together without following the instructions. no one would be able to walk in this life without having a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Nobody has gone from A to Z without having a solid foundation. We must make sure that we follow the guidelines, because the guidelines are written in black and white, and they will not change. They are love, because just as a father, just as a mother loves her child, so does God. So does the blood of Jesus. Follow the instructions and pay it forward.
That coming here from Juanita Ward, my co-host, inside of LEAD. Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is the acronym that God gave me in December of 2019, right before I didn't even know how much we needed it. So, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Always pay it forward. And they're paying it forward all the time, too. Giving away sandwiches, doing different things for people, making people's days. And so I appreciate them for all the work they're doing. Juanita, as always, thank you for your reminder of who God is, who God was, and who God will always be. I love you. I'm so happy that you're my sis, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Take care, Dan. Thanks a lot.
Take care. That coming from Juanita Ward here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a quick, fast break. When we come back, we will be joined inside the Cafe Kubal studios by our top dog of the week, Levell Sanders, who is no longer the interim head coach. That is gone. He's the head coach of the Binghamton Bearcats men's basketball team. A couple weeks ago, talking with him, I said, take that interim out. Erase it. Take away that word, because you are the head coach. And now officially, he is exactly that. And we're honoring him as our top dog of the week right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios, where sports meets life. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on YouTube and Facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, where you're watching our very special Top Dog of the Week announcement here. And my Top Dog of the Week was an easy choice, as what did I do a couple weeks ago? But I remember that note that I wrote that I had interim and I crossed it out. Well, I said, speak it into existence, and here we are. So, Levell, congratulations on being named the official head coach of the Binghamton men's basketball team.
Thanks, Dan, and I appreciate it. It's funny. I was talking to our players a week ago or something when Jake won the Player of the Week award, and I was saying it's a team award, because you had to win 2 games in order for him to win that award. And so, when I look at, this contract that I have is basically because, everybody that is involved with our program has played a part and, has done an unbelievable job and has allowed, me to sign this contract. But again, I look at this as a team thing, because if the team is not performing and not playing well, this doesn't happen. So, definitely appreciative to all of the players, all of the staff, our support staff, and just everybody who had a hand in this.
The interim world, it can go many different ways, and it's that bridge between this is what we thought we had and this is what we might have going forward. How did you navigate being in that world of this is my team, but for how long?
You know what, man? I never thought about. I think I say this all the time. I never thought about. It never came to my mind. I never did the job as an interim, right? And I remember when Pat Elliott and I first discussed this, and he was saying that, he had interim has to be there, but he doesn't want it to be on the website or anything like that. And then, one of the people that I'm really close to, Tommy Amica, we spoke, we speak every time there's any kind of important, thing going on in my life. I always talk to him to get his guidance. And, I said this again, he told me to do the job as if you are the head coach and not as if you're trying to get the job. So I've looked at it from the beginning that way. I never had any kind of doubts in my mind about, interim or anything. I think the hardest thing about the interim, I think, is other people's perception and everybody else are asking you the questions. It came up a lot with recruiting. It was very hard to recruit, being an interim head coach. And, that was the hardest part. I think everything else was, I was just doing the job as if I was the head coach.
Bring me into how you got the information, just what happened on that day. I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Of what day?
Of when you were told, hey, listen, there's no more interim. You got the job. But just bring me into that conversation and how everything kind of all shook out.
You know what? I don't think it was just kind of one conversation of, you got the job. I think, Dennis, our AD, Dennis Kalina, he's done a really good job. We're trying to get a chance to know each other, and he's done a good job of scheduling meetings, and we meet quite often. Before the season started, we were meeting every week, and then once the season started, you're traveling, it's not as much, but so he's been kind of keeping tabs on what we're doing. Of course, everybody can kind of see what we're doing. I talked to President Stinger a lot. He's also been, very supportive. So I don't remember ever being one conversation. I know, once the kind of negotiations and stuff ramped up, my agent, was telling me, this is the situation. Here it goes. So I remember when, I think it was, I want to say yesterday or 2 days ago or something, when Dennis really called me and said, hey, we can finally, no, it wasn't, it was maybe about a week ago. He called me and was like, hey, we can finally, everything, all of the kind of paperwork is in, we can finally, offer you the job officially. And it was kind of like that. But as I said, it was just, we've had ongoing conversations. So, I kind of expected that this would happen just because of the success we were having as a team. I can't really point to kind of like one day.
How long do they have you for? I know that there's contract stuff that always comes out, but I like to go to the horse's mouth, so to speak. So what is the timetable as of right now for you in Binghamton, and what have they signed you on for?
It's a 5-year deal. So that goes, I think, until March 2027. And
for you to be here, to have this be official, this is such a great moment because, you stepping into this role, seeing how the teams responded. Why do you think that they took so well to you, and why do you feel like you've been able to give to them and them give back to you to put you in this position? Because I know you credit them and say, hey, my assistant coaches have to do it, my players have to do it, but there's something about you that they're listening to. There's something about your plan and your teaching that they're buying into. So what is that connect that you feel has gotten you here?
Just being me, I had players meetings all this week with the players and individually, and kind of the one thing that they all were saying was, they just kind of like my demeanor, how I'm always even keel. I allow players to be who they are. I allow our coaches to be who they are. I think when you for example, if you hire someone and you hire them to do a job, I think you should expect and you should let that person do the job they're hired for. Also, I think when you same thing with coaching, if you're coaching and you recruit a player, you recruit a player because you know how that player plays and you want that player to come and play that style. I don't try to change guys. All of the recruits that we had come in, the 3 guys that we had come in, I knew how they play, and I wanted them to come and play their game. And I think people can appreciate when somebody is honest. I don't have to yell and scream, but I'm always honest with these guys. And if I have a player that I know that he can do this and he can do that, and I tell him, hey, when you get here, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. When he get here, that's exactly how it's going to be. I remember when I was coaching overseas, the one thing that I always used to tell American guys is that I want to let you know how it is going to be before you get here. So when you get here, you're not surprised, because a lot of times going overseas, it's a little bit different. It's not just like being in America. We had a kid that played at Iowa State, and Iowa State, I mean, shoot, Big 12, they got the best facilities. Now he's coming to the Czech Republic where we don't have the same facilities. We don't have the same service that he had. And so I had to explain that to him and let him know before he came, because once he got there, I didn't want him to be surprised and shocked. So I think it's the same thing here. It's, a lot of the players that we had here, I had relationships with because I was an assistant coach for 2 years. So I had an opportunity to get a chance to know those guys, and they had an opportunity to get a chance to know me. So I thought that made it easier. And then again, like I said, the guys that we brought in, I explained to those guys exactly how it's going to be. Now, when you get here and we are working together, of course, there's going to be things that we have to coach you on, and we do coach guys. It's not like we just let guys, come out and just do whatever they want to do. But for the most part, I think that, players, if they can express themselves, people, if they work for you, if they can express themselves and they feel like they have some vested inside of it, it'll be a good opportunity, a good situation.
Before I let you go, first phone call you made when you found this out officially, first person in your inner circle that you wanted to talk to?
Well, my wife was with me when I got the call, so that was good enough. I called my brother.
What did you say?
I just told him that I got a 5-year contract, and he was super excited, and that was it.
What does it say to people out there chasing their dreams? You're the top dog of the week. I'm honoring you in a spotlight that only one person or group gets every single week. What do you want people to know that are out there chasing their dreams about staying with it, staying the course?
I mean, that's just it. You have to. A lot, especially in this, I think this time, in this day and age, with the internet, everything is so fast, and we expect everything to be fast. But again, things that come easy don't last, and they're not worth it. So whatever it is you want to do, just again, you never fail if you don't quit, right? And I know a lot of people might think in the basketball circle that I'm lucky, and this happened pretty quick coming back from overseas and being here 2 years and being in a position to be a head coach. But for me, it was a long journey, like being overseas for 21 years and being away from my family. And I mean, it's so much sacrifice you make. And then all of a sudden, you become a head coach and people think it happened overnight. But again, it's just like winning the lottery, right? You play 1 million times and all of a sudden you finally win, and people think but again, it's a lot of hard work, sacrifice. And I think that, that's the most important thing. It's hard work. It's not easy, but when things do happen for you, I think, and you had to struggle a little bit, then you appreciate it a lot more. So don't give up. Keep going.
I love that, because that is something I agree with wholeheartedly. Like, how come these people seem to be so lucky? I'm like, well, because they're working really hard. So
right. And the saying, right? Like the preparation and the opportunity. So you have to be prepared when your opportunity comes. That's one thing Coach Amick always says is not ready, but you got to be prepared, right? And you have to be prepared when your opportunity comes, and then you become lucky. That's Tom Brady, right? He's considered the GOAT. He was prepared when his opportunity came, and he took advantage of it. So that's the situation you have to put yourself in.
Levell Sanders, the official now head coach. A couple weeks ago, I said it, scratch it off, throw it out. Let's get rid of that interim. And now we finally got to do it. So listen, proud of you. I'm happy for you. My next thing to do, and my word to you, is I'll be coming down to Binghamton to make sure that we get some face-to-face time. And I definitely want to get around this team. But until then, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this journey.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Top dog of the week, Levell Sanders. Much earned, well deserved, and so happy for something that did not happen overnight. It happened over time. And he dedicated himself to his craft, believed in himself, made sacrifices, and got to a point where today we get to say Levell Sanders, the head coach of the foreseeable future with the Binghamton Bearcats Division I men's basketball program. We're happy for you, Levell. We're hoping the best for you. I had a great feeling getting around you and the team when we got to do the Zoom, and I'm even more excited now as we step forward. So I feel good things about this. I feel great opportunity about this, and I cannot wait to see what you're going to do with the Southern Tier, what you're going to do with Binghamton University, and with these Bearcats. Congratulations, Levell Sanders, our official top dog of the week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, proudly presented by K9 Kampground and K9 Camp Dog Daycare. The Kampground is available to you by going online to KAMPground.com. That's K9 KAMPground.com for the Kampground long-term care for your furry-loving friends. And, of course, you can get more information as well by calling their phone number at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And for the dog daycare, you can go to K-9KAMP.com. That's K-9KAMP.com. And you can call them at 315-437-7110 for the dog daycare. That's 315-437-7110. Both of them located right off of Bridge Street, right by BJ's in East Syracuse, New York. So make sure you get in touch with them today. Shout out to Levell Sanders. Once again, our top dog of the week. Proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll take a step aside. And when we come back, you know it's Pacer Pride, and we have specials for you every single Friday. We did a Marywood Mania takeover this week where they had the entire show on Tuesday and 4 different coaches being a part of the show. Well, today, I decided to extend out to a student-athlete alum of Marywood and one of my closest and best friends, someone I consider a brother, and someone who always makes the show interesting, funny, and exciting. Ross Turetsky. Coming up next, Ross here on the show, sportscaster and writer, fellow alum of Marywood University, and a fantastic human being. He joins Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora right after this fast break from inside of the Café Cubal studios, where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to K9 Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see K9 Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call K9 Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, 3501 James Street in Syracuse, New York, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-through location. Make sure you head off to Cafe Kubal today. Warm yourself up with your favorite cup and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. Rounding out today's show, every Friday we do Pacer Pride specials every single Friday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We had the Marywood Mania takeover, and now I am bringing on an alum of Marywood University. He was a year behind me. He was a student athlete and a fantastic person. He's used his Marywood University degree to move on to become a professional in the sportscaster and writer ranks, and he is still there in Northeast PA, continuing to cover the surrounding area there with Marywood University and the schools around there. So very excited, very happy to have one of my closest friends, and somebody that I think calling a friend is disrespectful because he's more like a brother, and he is a brother. So with that being said, my brother from another mother is here with us right now, and that is Mr. Ross Turetsky, and I am so happy that he gets to round out the week with us. Ross, how we doing?
Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. But wait, there's no Major League Baseball because it's billionaires and millionaires fighting over money while people are struggling through a pandemic, and they're like, screw you, fans. So, as a beloved baseball fan, I'm very frustrated with my beloved sport, baseball. I'm very happy to be with you, Dan, and talk about Marywood Pacers sports and all sports in general. But on a positive note, college baseball, for especially Division I, is the official opening date is today. MLB Network, they basically have been able to show old baseball games and nothing new. They're going to have college baseball games today on. Penn State is going to play a college baseball game in North Carolina where it's a little warmer because it's a little frigid here, of course. It's Jekyll and Hyde here. It was 60 degrees yesterday. It's 30 degrees today, and I'm wearing a winter coat. So it's definitely great weather to freeze your butt off and get sick because one day it's hot and you're getting spring fever. You're like, oh, it's springtime. And the next minute you have to scrape off your car because it's iced over. So baseball, college baseball is back today. Minor league baseball is going to be unaffected by the lockout. So Syracuse Mets over there, the Rail Riders in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Yankees AAA team, their home opener is April 12th. They play each other throughout the season, so I'm excited about that. I'm probably going to have my little daughter's 5th birthday party at the Rail Riders this year. They can throw out the first pitch and run the bases, so it should be a fun time. But I'm very disappointed with Major League Baseball, and now they've wasted so much time because they meet yesterday for 15 minutes because they don't like what the other person said, so they storm off like a very messy relationship. They're like, enough with you. 15 minutes later, and then they're going to make you usually wait like another week to talk again. And remember, they've now already said what we already knew. In order for the season to start on time, regular season, I know it's crazy in Northeast Pennsylvania and throughout the Northeast, opening day for real games is supposed to start Thursday, March 31st. That was 6 weeks ago from yesterday. So now it's 41 days away. In order for that to happen, especially because there was a big frenzy with free agents and trades right before the lockout on December 2nd. There's still a lot of free agents out there who need to find jobs, and they still need about a month, 4 weeks to train so they don't all get injured instantly. So you still need a spring training of some sorts. In order for that to actually happen, probably, and basically MLB already said this yesterday, February 28th or March 1st, which is in like 10 days, by the way. This is the shortest month of the year. February is going to be over in a blink of an eye. By February 28th, we need to have a deal, and that's the only way the lockout will end, and we could start the season on time without losing real games. Because I know next Sunday, spring training was supposed to start this week, right around Valentine's Day. Next Saturday was supposed to be the start of spring training games, which are nice, and people plan Florida and Arizona trips in warmer weather, and I've gone to them. It's a great time, but the games don't count. And unless you're a guy fighting for a job, it's not the end of the world. But for real games that count, March 31st, in order for that not to get delayed and we lose part of that 162-game holy grail of baseball season that I love so much, and now you say it's too much baseball. There's never too much baseball. In order for us not to lose any significant games, there needs to be a deal in 10 days. And right now, unless something dramatically changes and there's a little give and take from both the owners and players, I don't see that happening. They claim starting Monday they're going to finally get into desperation mode. It's like you're craving, doing an overnight, an all-nighter, craving for a big test or a paper due in college, which it shouldn't have taken this long. The procrastination's ridiculous. They claim starting Monday. I don't know why they don't start right now or right 5 seconds after that 15-minute debacle of meeting ended yesterday. They claim starting Monday they're going to meet every single day, multiple times a day in New York City and try to hash out a deal right before the deadline in 10 days. I don't believe that that's going to happen, but I pray. I have my fingers and my toes crossed. Maybe that sanity will prevail, that people are going to realize that people are struggling and it's tough out there and all the crap we've been through for 2 years. Let's get a deal done. And as we were talking off air, we knew something bad was going to happen when they had to implement, MLB commissioner had to implement a 60-game season on the players because they couldn't come to a deal during the pandemic in 2020. So they have a Mickey Mouse 60-game short season. And now, last year was a full season. Now that collective bargaining agreement ended on December 2nd. A lot of players signed right before that, so they knew where they're going. Now all hell is broken loose. We don't know if they're going to come to an agreement on time. We might lose games. And even when they do come to an agreement, there's still so much bad blood between the players and owners and the fans now. And there's still a ton of free agents who have to find jobs at the last moment and move their families to figure out where the heck they're going to play in about a month. So it's all madness, and I'm sick of it as a diehard baseball fan.
Well, but we all saw it coming. I mean, that's the thing is we saw the train derailing. We saw it on fire. We saw it lose its conductor. I mean, we have seen this coming because back in 2020, during everything going on with the pandemic, these two sides not only fought with each other, but it spilled out onto social media. It was like Kanye and Kim Kardashian having a conversation publicly. It felt like a Hollywood romance gone wrong. These two, they're talking to each other. It's behind closed doors. Let's keep it with us. Let's not tell anybody. And then, boom, they're out there, the Players Association. Hey, they're not listening to us. And then the league's going, hey, we told them this, and they didn't do that. And they're telling us publicly. They're involving all of us in their relationship. And then the whole world got to see this. And I said to Papa Joe, another big baseball fan, I said, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, when's the collective bargaining agreement up? Oh, it's coming up now? Well, guess what? This is a prelude to what's going to happen. This is a precursor to the madness that we're going to have before March. So we're in February madness right now, and we're enduring a 15-minute meeting as the last meeting that they had. Really? Why even go? Why not just zoom it up? Because to be in a position like this, when they're on this meeting, and it's 15 minutes long at the MLB Players Association Manhattan headquarters, that's all it was here. Now, 6 meetings, 5 have been in person since Rob Manfred locked out the players on December 2nd. The first one notably not occurring until January 13th. So you lock out the players on December 2. You don't meet for over a month. And now the most recent meeting is 15 minutes. Now you're just wasting everybody's time.
That's what I want to know, buddy. It's like, what are you doing with that time? The initial, you took a month and a half off after locking them out. And even now, when you know that the deadline's about to approach, what better are you doing? Why don't you stay in a room, lock the doors, get Chinese food or takeout, whatever you need, and you stay in there, you come to an agreement at this point. You give a little, owners, players give a little. You get a little, players, owners get a little. I know it's hard to be sympathetic for the owners because they're super rich and all that, and a lot of them, there's some really crappy teams out there like the Pittsburgh Pirates and Kansas City Royals and some really bad teams that basically pocket money, don't try to win, and they make more of a profit than the Yankees and the marquee teams because those teams actually put money back into their product. They get the best players and they try to win. Where meanwhile, there's bad teams, and I don't like to harp on too much, but yeah, not far away. The Pittsburgh Pirates, year after year, are terrible. They're garbage, and they don't seem to care. They have a proud tradition. They've won World Series. They had Willie Stargell, Roberto Clemente, all these great players, and they like to lose now year after year because they can pocket the revenue share and money. So it's hard to feel bad for these owners because they're super rich, even though they cry that they're poor, and they're pocketing money and the revenue sharing. But then it's also hard to feel bad for these players because they're making an insane amount of money, and there's got to be some kind of commonplace in between that they can come to an agreement to, because I can't buy that it's just too much. And if there isn't a season, it's hard enough if we lose real games. That's going to be terrible. But if there isn't a season this year, that's devastating. I don't know how you can come back from that. If you lose an entire season over this garbage, I don't think there's the fans and the people out there who are struggling are going to be able to deal with it. Me, as a lifelong baseball fan, I don't know if I can come back to it, or at least for the foreseeable future. I think I'll have to stick to college and minor league baseball where it's more pure, and Division III like Marywood University, talking to the coach the other day. I think I'm going to have to stick to that kind of baseball because I can't quit baseball, but I can't watch these babies, these billionaires and millionaires, fight over so much money while people are struggling out there, and they don't have the common sense. Like, what the hell are you doing? Come to agreement. Don't leave the room till it's over. And 15 minutes is a joke, and then you take like another week to meet again. It's insanity. And like you said, it's a perfect analogy. It's basically watching the train derail, and you know it's going to happen. And just like all the people when there's a car accident, they're all the rubberneckers on the road, and that's why there's even more traffic, more accidents. Because they all have to slow down to see the crash and see the fire. And that's what all the people right now are seeing right now. And it's crazy. And both sides are trying to smash each other and talk trash on Twitter and saying, oh, we're ready to play. They're not ready. It's enough of this. I don't really care at this point. I want the deal done. And until there's a deal done, and if we lose significant games, I think I'm done with this season. I'm not going to put hard-earned money to go to a Yankee Stadium and pay tons of money for my two kids, my wife and myself, 4 people, spend hundreds of dollars for one day. For what? For these babies? No, I can't do that. I can't expect other people to do that. So I'm a baseball apologist. I know I'm always giving you countdowns to opening day, and you're saying that you're insane. Baseball's not real right now because it's winter and snow.
It's snowing right now.
I know. I see it through my window. It was 60 degrees yesterday, and now it's snowing right now.
It is.
I can't apologize for baseball anymore if they can't come to their senses. If they can't get this done during this 10 days left, which it shouldn't have come down to this 10 days, their procrastination is ridiculous. I'm done with it for a while. I know it's easy to say I can't go back to it for a while because to be like a scorned lover after a troubled relationship, I'm going to be bruised and battered. I can't deal with these babies for the foreseeable future if they can't come to an agreement and finally have some common sense that they look like fools out there and they're being laughed at. And meanwhile, other sports are becoming more dynamic. Football's king here. Basketball and hockey's starting to build up a little bit. Soccer's getting bigger. Basketball's big.
Yep.
MMA fighting's big. And the Olympics are going on. Baseball is going to be an afterthought for young kids because a lot of young kids already are not playing baseball as is, especially in different cities and different areas. If they continue this, baseball is going to be dead in a long time because most of their fans are elderly people who unfortunately are dying off, and the young fan is not going to want to go out to support the product.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. I want to let everybody know something here. Ross is as big of a baseball fan as they come. We've known each other. We've been friends since 2008. So in 14 years of being friends with Ross Turetsky, never once in my life have I ever heard him say, I'm going to be done with baseball. So I want you to hear what he just said, and I want you to marinate the fact he's been a fan since birth, and he grew up in the New York City, like Long Island area. I want to be clear with you folks that this man has been a fan for 35 years of his whole life. And in the 14 years that I've known him, I've never once heard him say, I'm going to be done with it. If this is what continues, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to go to a game. I've never heard Ross say that. If you do that to a fan of his caliber, then I can't imagine what you're doing to the average fan, the fan that kind of watches half the season sometimes when they're bored and there's nothing else on. I want to give people some history. There's been a lot of stoppages in baseball. In 1972 is the first one. It lasted April 1st to April 13th in 1972. It was a strike. The 1973 lockout lasted February 8th to February 25th. The 1976 lockout lasted March 1st to March 17th. From there, the 1980 strike was April 1st to the 8th. Just 8 days in 1980. 1981, June 12th to July 31st in 1981, over a month of a lockout, of a strike. The 1985 strike was August 6th to the 7th, a couple days. The 1990 lockout, February 15th to March 18th of 1990, over a month. The 94...
But you're about to say the worst one. The
Yeah.
year we lost the World Series as a kid, and that almost ruined it for me.
The 1994-1995 strike of baseball lasted from August 12th, 1994, through the World Series, canceling the 1994 World Series and going until March 31st, 95. And I still remember people picketing on a bridge on a road that I was driving on with my dad during that time. I still remember that moment. And in 2021, we're now here in what is the potential lockout that has started on December 2nd of 2021 and is to be determined how long it lasts. It's notable to mention that there has been multiple strikes and lockouts, but it's also very notable to mention that baseball has never had a strike or a lockout since 1994-95, which almost killed baseball and took years to resurrect. So between then and 2021, there has not been a stoppage in over 20 years. And what happened last time was almost deadly. And baseball should have learned its lesson.
Well, if you remember what basically saved it was basically all the stuff that we kind of complained about.
Mark
The
McGwire and Sammy
steroid
Sosa,
era.
yeah.
McGwire and Sosa in 1998,
Yeah.
going for Roger Maris's home run record. And then you had the good story in 1995 of Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man, breaking Lou Gehrig, his consecutive game playing streak. That was a nice wholesome moment for the Baltimore Orioles. Most consecutive games in a row, beating the Iron Man. The Iron Horse, I mean. So that was a great streak. But probably the biggest thing was the guys getting super juiced up. And now you saw with the Hall of Fame voting, guys like McGwire, Sosa, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez, all these greats, those same steroid users have no chance to get in the Hall of Fame because people are disgusted they cheated the game. And I don't want to reward them for cheating the game either. I think there has to be some penalty they played. But these same men that we're vilifying now, and I'm disgusted, I don't want them to go to the Hall of Fame, because I want to keep the integrity of baseball. They're the ones who saved baseball because they drove it off the cliff when you canceled the World Series. You ask, any kid's going to ask down the road, who won the 94 World Series? Nobody. The Montreal Expos, who don't exist anymore, they're in the Washington Nationals now. They had a lot of great players before they got rid of all of them, like Pedro Martinez and Larry Walker. They were in first place. And the Yankees with Don Mattingly and company, they were in first place. They maybe would have faced off in the World Series. Maybe Mattingly would have gotten a championship, which he's never gotten. I love Donnie baseball. I'm still disgusted he's never won a World Series. Instead, the season was wiped out in August. You lost that. You had a slightly shortened 95 season, but mostly a full season. They only lost about 20 games. But it's hard to even fathom that you lost the World Series. And to think that could happen, and then all these years later, and basically the only thing that saved it was, basically the steroid era, that people were hitting an insane amount of homers, and I bought into it. I was a 12-year-old boy in 98, seeing McGwire and Sosa night after night going for that home run record, and it was such a great moment. And Billy Crystal has a great HBO movie. I saw on HBO Max the other day, 61 with an asterisk, about Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris going for Babe Ruth's home run record in 1961. Great movie, but then it's disgusting when you found out that these guys were mostly cheats, the McGwires and Sosas and Bonds, all, I have to say, alleged, but it basically is pretty much confirmed that they were on something before enhancing drugs. So it takes away the integrity of the game. In my mind, as I've told you many times, Hank Aaron's still the all-time home run king, all-time deserves that over Bonds, and the single-season home run king should go right back to Roger Maris. He did it clean. He did it the right way for a lot of scrutiny where everyone wanted Babe Ruth to keep that record. And you have guys like McGwire, Sosa, and Bonds with 73 home runs. Those are ridiculous records and numbers that do not deserve our merit because they were all done with ill-gotten gains by steroids. We're going to wish for another steroid era to save baseball. You lose baseball, what's going to bring it back? What's going to get kids into it again? I remember they used to have funny commercials with the Atlanta Braves star pitchers, Greg Maddux, Tom Glenn, say, chicks dig the long ball. That was kind of baseball basically sold their souls to the devil with all the cheating going on just so they could bring baseball back and get popular with young kids again with all the home runs. Now that we've hopefully gotten most of that out of baseball, all the steroid use, you hope, you never know with what they're doing now. I don't see what's going to save baseball if they lose a season or they lose significant time, and it's disgusting that we're even having to worry about that situation. You would have thought they would have learned their lesson. 1994 was 28 years ago, and what lessons did they learn? I don't think they learned anything. I think they feel like you'll come back to them. You'll be the pathetic boyfriend who will come back, and whenever they decide to come to an agreement, you'll come back and give them your hundreds and hundreds of and thousands of dollars of hard-earned money, and you'll come back and say, please take my money. I want to go to the game. Well, I think a lot of people are going to say no this time, and I think I will finally have to give in and say enough's enough. I can't do it. I will watch college baseball and minor league baseball at that point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is the great thing about it is we're not going to lose AAA. We're not going to lose minor league baseball. We're not in general. We're not going to lose college baseball. We're not going to lose high school baseball. So there will be something to watch. The crybaby millionaires. It's like, do I make 1.1 or 1.2? Do I make 7.5 or 7.6? I mean, the thing about baseball that frustrates the heck out of me is, yeah, okay, not every player's making a $300 million contract. I get that. But when it comes down to it, the owners are, and the owners can't cry. They can't cry wolf, right? They can't say, well, we're not making any money, because in the middle of the lockout, in the heat of the lockout, Fernando Tatis was signed on for an egregious amount of money, and so the reality of it all is you got no money coming in, yet you can pay him almost $400 million. So the reality for me is the owners got money, the players got, unless you're a new player coming in, the players that are there, they got money. I know not all of them are superstars, but they're making money. It's like the NBA. There's guys in the NBA making money that you would not even believe me. You don't even know the name. It's not even a household name. Guy making $23 million. So, for me, you have money on top of money on top of money. The only people suffering are the fans. These players are going to figure it out. These owners are going to figure it out. But the fans are the ones that suffer. We are the ones that suffer. We are the ones that have to deal with the fact that the prices go up. That that if we want to be here, then it's got to go. Like, everything goes up. To buy a steak sandwich, it's $18. To park, maybe it's $30. Maybe it's $40. Maybe it's $50. Maybe it used to be $10, now it's $20. Maybe to buy a ticket, it used to be, okay, how about this? You go to an Arizona Diamondbacks game, they're not that good. The ticket's $15. Now all of a sudden they're a good team. Now it's $80. So the reality of it all is the fan always ends up suffering the trickle-down system that we have in this country. And in the trickle-down system, we're the ones getting frustrated. We're the ones paying the price. We're the ones suffering. And we would love it if the people making millions of dollars can maybe respect us and tell us, hey, maybe tickets are going to be less. Maybe we're going to do right by you. But don't tell me as an owner, when you're a billionaire, well, we just decided to pay Mike Trout, so now we got to raise the tickets $20 a piece. No, you don't. You chose to do that. I didn't make you do that.
And it's everything. It's the market, it's the merchandise, all the stuff you buy at the team store, the food, the hot dogs, all the crazy money, the beers. I don't know how people are putting away 10 beers at a game when they're like $13 a pop. Where are you getting all this money from? I'm like, do you have a secret meth lab? Is this Breaking Bad all of a sudden? I don't know what the hell they're doing. I do understand there are players who aren't making a ton of money, and because of the arbitration system, and you have to wait till you're 7 years in to become a free agent. So for a while, guys like Aaron Judge, when they're playing on like their rookie contracts, they're basically owned by that team, their rights, and they're getting paid, for athletes, garbage money. They're getting paid around league minimum. League minimum is around $500,000, $600,000, which is still insane for the average person. That's amazing money. I would do anything for $600,000 a year. But for a lot of these star players, they've outplayed their contract, and a lot of them, they have to wait until year number 7 until they're older, and they only can maybe get one big contract to really cash in and get the $30 million a year contract, the $300 million deal for 10 years. And by then they're a little older and they might get paid less. I get that part needs to be fixed. But there's so many other issues with the game, there's so many other issues with society that you have to understand there has to be a way where you can maybe help out some of those younger players who are still being paid good money overall for regular people, and then pay them a little bit more when they're a little bit younger. And maybe, and I think that's one of the big issues that we're fighting. Supposedly these veteran players who are making tons of money, $30 million a year, are saying we're fighting for the younger players who, and hopefully they actually are fighting for them and actually care about them, who have to make, kind of what they see as garbage money until they get to year number 7 when they become a free agent, can make us all the money in the world. And it takes a while to get arbitration eligible, where now Aaron Judge, an arbitrator said you're worth $10 million last year. And then this year will be the last year of his contract. An arbitrator will give him more money. And then next year he can make the big bucks because he becomes a free agent. And the Yankees will have to pay up, or someone else will. I imagine the Yankees probably will keep him because everyone, adores him at Yankee Stadium. But I understand there's issues with the game. I understand that there's revenue issues for owners to a degree. But still, in the end, I still mostly side with the players here. But I still think there's got to be give and take, like in any relation. whether it's for a significant other or a friend relationship, you have to give a little. The players are going to have to give a little and let the owners have a win because they're both very prideful groups of people. The owners are going to want to not be defeated, be destroyed, and say, "Oh, we crushed you." They're not going to want the players to have that over them. And the players feel the last couple of collective bargaining agreements that the owners have had the gavel and smashed them over the head and basically have twisted their arm to come to agreement. So they haven't had the work stoppages as they have before since 94 and 95. So the players, they want to get some of that power back. The owners want to make sure they keep some of that power. So you got to give a little give and take. Give some to the owners, give some to the players, and come to an agreement. There needs to be an agreement involved. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe at the very last second, maybe right there at midnight on February 28th, right going into March 1st, there's going to be agreement. I hope. I count the blessings. One day I'm going to flip the channel, and it's going to tell me on the morning news the agreement has been met, and we're going to have a full season. Yeah. But I still have my doubts. I don't think we're going to. I think we'll have a season. I think these guys, it's going to take them to lose in significant games, and maybe like an independent arbitrator to show up and basically force them to get to the negotiation table day after day to come to an agreement. That's what it took in 95. Basically, an arbitrator had to work out a deal and force them to go back. So I think that we're repeating history again. I think we're going to maybe lose a month of the season. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we might. And, maybe for the people who don't want to sit through cold weather baseball, which I don't care. I love baseball in any weather. Maybe we're going to lose the month of April. We might not get baseball till May. I think we'll have a season. I think it's going to be a shortened season, and it's a crying shame that we'll have a shortened season. And if we have no season, then like I said, I think baseball really runs the risk of losing all relevancy of the major pro sports in our country. I think we lose it. I think baseball will go so far down on the depth chart. Everyone says, oh, when's soccer arrive? Soccer, with the youth leagues and all that stuff, I think soccer will eventually be above them. NASCAR will be above them. Golf, all these sports that don't have stops, MMA, mixed martial arts, are going to move above baseball because they're more exciting for the young kid to watch. And I'll be the first one to admit, I'm one of the few, and I'm even getting older, one of the few younger fans who is out there for baseball. I think it's mostly older fans, and as more and more of them go away, baseball's in trouble. How are you going to attract the next group of players, next group of Mike Trouts, Aaron Judges, Superstar, Mookie Betts, and how are you going to attract the fans who are going to pay the money, the next young group of fans who will be fans for the next 50, 60 years? I don't know how that's going to work if you're going to have constant work stoppages.
No, and that's the thing. And people are saying, oh yeah, soccer. Nobody cares about soccer. If you fell asleep with the MLS when they had 12 teams, the MLS now has 27 active teams.
And sold out crowds. They even have a team at Yankee Stadium now. People show up for, and of course World Cup, which is later this year in Qatar. People are obsessed with soccer around the world, and even in this country, it's building.
Yeah, 27 active teams right now in the MLS, constantly growing, constantly expanding. Teams like Cincinnati and Charlotte coming in and whatnot, in Atlanta. So, they're almost to 30, which is what Major League Baseball has, what the NBA has. You look at the NHL. You look at each of these leagues and each of these sports, and you say, okay, if 30 is the magic number, Major League Soccer, MLS, is about to hit that number. They are right there at the cusp of hitting 30. And the biggest is the NFL with 32. So they're right there. They had 12, then they had 20. Now they have almost 30. I honestly said I felt like I literally looked at the schedule. It was 12. I didn't pay attention. And a couple years later, I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, there's 20 some odd teams in this thing now. How the heck did this thing double? And now it's more than doubled. So, people need to keep it. They need to focus on the fact that there are sports that could pass it. And Major League Baseball right now, as it stands, are in a place right now where we could see a potential lockout or strike expand and shorten this season. The Major League Baseball Players Association, the MLBPA, have made mention that they are offering to meet every day this coming week, with February 28th the deadline to get a deal done in time. So the Players Association saying, hey, we're willing to sit down every day to try and iron this thing out to get it done. So hopefully, that's my prayer, that's my hope. I'm a glass half full guy. I'm hoping they get it done. I don't like what I saw in 2020. I don't like what I saw when they were trying to figure things out in a pandemic. I don't like the fact that it was about money when disease was happening. I don't like the fact that it was a precursor to what we have today. I'm not surprised. I don't like the way things are going, and I don't like the way that it's affecting people and the fans more than anybody. So, what I'm hoping for is that baseball will find its way to endure professionally, but no matter what, it will endure at the collegiate level, the high school level, the AAA level, single A, double A. And the beauty about these rosters, as Greg brought up, is that, if you have these players going up and down from the professional ranks to, the AAA and whatnot, this could open up some more opportunities to call people up. And if you call people up because you have roster availability, then that gives you opportunities to put people in single A, double A. So this lockout/strike could actually help players that haven't gotten looks, haven't gotten opportunities, and haven't gotten a shot yet. So that is my hope right now, that if for nothing else, every negativity can build something positive, and the positive of this all is that maybe some players not getting looked at or not getting a chance that maybe think that their career is never going to happen. Maybe they get a look now, maybe they get an opportunity now, and maybe they get to go out there and fight for the right to earn a spot and keep a spot. So that's what I'm hoping for in this. A final note here, Ross. We got asked to talk about the Hall of Fame and the state of the Hall of Fame. I want to let everybody know the ballot results for the Baseball Writers Association of America. David Ortiz, Big Papi, had the most votes with 307.
He's the only current player who got in. There might be some veterans later on that might get in, but he's the only one who got voted in this time.
Yeah, the only player voted in, Big Papi, with 77.9% of the vote. Barry Bonds, in his final year on the ballot, had 260 votes, 66%. Roger Clemens, with his final year on the ballot, 257 votes, 65.2%. Scott Rowland, 249 votes, 63.2%. Kurt Schilling, 231 votes in his final year on the ballot, 58.6%. Todd Helton, 205 votes, 52%. Billy Wagner, 201 votes, 51%. Andrew Jones, 163 votes, 41.1%. Gary Sheffield, you and I know him from growing up, 160 votes, 40.6%. Alex Rodriguez, as I called in 2008, gave him the name and kept it all the way through. Steroids Rodriguez, 135 votes, 34.3%. Jeff Kent, 129 votes, 32.7%. Manny Ramirez, 114 votes, 28.9%. Omar Vizquel, 94 votes, 23.9%. Sammy Sosa, in his final year on the ballot, only 73 votes, 18.5%. Andy Pettit, 42 votes, 10.7%. Jimmy Rollins, 37 votes, 9.4%. Bobby Abreu, 34 votes, 8.6%. Mark Burley, or what is it? I'm saying it wrong. Mark Burley, yeah, at 23 votes, 5.8%. Torrey Hunter, 21 votes, 5.3%. And players receiving less than 5% will drop off future ballots. That's Joe Nathan, Tim Hudson, Tim Lincecum, Ryan Howard, Mark Teixeira, Justin Morneau, Jonathan Papelbon, Prince Fielder, A.J. Pierzynski, Carl Crawford, and Jake Peavy. These are all guys.
Some of those guys won World Series and MVPs. So some of those guys who dropped off for less than 5%, it's unfortunate. They had very good careers. Ryan Howard was a heck of a player. Justin Morneau was a heck of a player. Mark Teixeira, former Yankee. Yeah, he was a switch hitter who hit over 400 home runs. So I'm a little surprised. I didn't necessarily think he was a Hall of Famer per se, but I'm surprised he got such a little support in the Hall of Fame voted. So I figured he deserved to at least get the full 10 years and get some votes along the way. So I'm a little surprised by that. But yeah, the steroid users, alleged steroid users, you need 75% of the vote to get in. The only other chance now, they claim that down the road, I think they meet, I don't know if they meet every year or every few years, they have veterans, because those are the baseball writers. You have to be a writer, national baseball writer for 10 years to get a vote. The Veterans Committee has former players, but they're very protective of the game. So if you didn't get in with the writers, I don't think a lot of these old school players, former players, are going to vote you in. They have a chance to vote some guys in, which they've been able to do. They've gone like Jim Cott and a few other former old school baseball players. Bill Mazeroski a few years back with the Pittsburgh Pirates won the 1960 World Series of the Yankees. He got in, and a lot of people thought, oh, maybe he didn't quite deserve it. So there are chances that some of these guys down the road could have, but I don't understand, unless you're going to get some very sympathetic former players maybe down the road who played with these guys who might want to vote for them. I don't know. I think they'll ever get in, and they already lost their chance on the regular traditional ballot from the writers. But as I said, I've gone to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I loved going there. I finally got to go when I was 21 years old in 2007. They do have a lot of stuff from Barry Bonds and Pete Rose and Roger Clemens from guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame. They have their their bats when they hit the winning home run, the game-winning hit, the all-time home run mark. They acknowledge them, but part of me, I don't know what you think. They got to get paid tons of money, win championships. They got the notoriety. They technically have these records. They don't even have an asterisk. Roger Maris got an asterisk until the day he died. Like, they didn't even give him the sole home run possession, single-season home run mark until 1991. His 61 homers had an asterisk just because in an expansion year in 61, when he broke Babe Ruth's home run record of 60 in a season, they added 8 games to the season. So Babe Ruth only did it 154 games. Maris was in 162 games. He did not force them to give them 8 extra games, just like now the NFL plays 17 regular season games instead of 16, and they used to play 14. So they technically made 2 separate records, and they considered Babe Ruth really the home run record. And then Roger Maris passed away in 1985 at a pretty young age, in his 50s. So he never was alive to even get to feel the acknowledgement that he was the single-season home run king. He knew he got 61 homers, but the asterisks remained until 1991, and of course 7 years later, unfortunately, these alleged cheaters, McGuire and Sosa, broke his record, which I still think to this day needs to be reinstated, just like Hank Aaron's record needs to be reinstated because they did it cleanly. So it is a lot of craziness. But so they got the home run records. They got Barry Bonds is not going to have to give away his home run record. He's not going to have to give millions of dollars away. They've been embarrassed and they've been accused by a lot of people of cheating. I think the last thing you can do to punish them and protect the integrity game, and I believe this, I know a lot of people don't want to agree with me, it's controversial. I think you keep them out of the Hall of Fame, that they don't have a bronze statue. They don't have the plaque in the Hall of Fame. They have acknowledgments of their home runs and their strikeouts like Roger Clemens. They acknowledge them, but I think that's the last thing you could do to punish them because they don't deserve the right for little kids to go to the Hall of Fame and see that plaque and know that they did it wrong. I know, like, oh, you're like, you don't know. Some guys might have snuck into the Hall of Fame who cheated. We don't fully know, but we know these guys cheated. We know these guys destroyed the game, and even if they thought they were helping the game at the time, but they were being petty and they decided to cheat, they got to keep their millions. They get to keep their trophies. The last thing you could do to kind of protect the game of baseball and warn kids, don't ever do this, what your role models did. Do not cheat. It's not going to work out for you. You know, some people might be willing to do it just to make the millions of dollars and the fame they got. Keep them out of the Hall of Fame. Do not give them the plaque. So I kind of agree with that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they served their time. They should have let Bonds and Clemens in on their 10th and final year on the ballot. I'm kind of happy they didn't get in. The only thing that it's tough because I love Big Papi Ortiz. Big smile on his face, even though he used to terrorize my Yankees every year with the Red Sox, big home runs, World Series champion 3 times. He technically tested positive once for performance-enhancing drugs. It was when they made it anonymous. You weren't supposed to know before they started penalized for drug use. They used to not test for steroids. So he tested positive in 2003. It wasn't supposed to, his name wasn't supposed to be leaked. It got leaked, and then he never tested positive again. So did he ever take it again and find a way to get past the test? Or did he just cheat by accident once and never did it again? So there is even controversy about Ortiz that maybe he didn't deserve to get in. But in the end, his records were great. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a very lovable guy. That's another thing that helps. Maybe he doesn't deserve that, but he's more lovable than Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, who were kind of prickly superstars who weren't always getting along with the media. So in the end, Ortiz got in. Maybe he's a cheater. He did test positive once. He kind of denies it and says it was an accident. But the other guys, I agree. You know, they didn't get in. A-Rod's never going to get into the Hall of Fame. I know he's kind of beloved now. He's on Shark Tank. He was with J-Lo for a while. He's on ESPN Baseball, Fox Baseball, and he seems very lovable now that he's not playing. A-Rod's never going to be a Hall of Famer, and that's the price he gets to pay. He gets the millions. He gets to be a superstar even after his career's over. He needs to pay the price and never get into the Hall of Fame. I think that's the only thing you can do to penalize them at this point.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa, in their final year on the ballot, not a single one of them got voted in?
You know, basically, as I said, it's tough because I know a lot of people are like, these are great players, and some people are like, oh, maybe, especially with Bonds and Clemens, a lot of people are saying, but you don't fully know when they started to take steroids. A lot of people are saying that they were Hall of Famers before they think the steroid use started, that they think they took it later in their careers when they were in their late 30s to hold on. And Bonds was kind of jealous of McGuire Sosa home run chase in 98, and he's like, I'm a superstar. Why am I not getting the notoriety? So he decided to cheat. That's what a lot of people think. And then he was a Hall of Famer, Bonds, before he started taking it, and very well might have been. He was probably one of the best all-around players, 5-tool base players, great defensive player, great throwing arm, lots of stolen bases, 40-40 man. I think he has over 500 stolen bases. He has over 762 home runs. The power, the speed, the great defensive glove. He had it all. He was kind of like Ken Griffey Jr., but Ken Griffey Jr., I think, did it the right way. Unfortunately, his body broke down, but he's more respected because Griffey did it the right way, didn't cheat, had 630-something home runs, was a great player, but falls short of Barry Bonds' marks. But in many ways, I think Griffey will go down as the more beloved player because people are like, he did it the right way until his body naturally gave out. And Bonds and Clemens and these other guys, Sosa and McGuire, they weren't willing to do that. They kind of took the easy way out in their late 30s. And, yeah, I'm the first one. But people are like, oh, but if I took steroids, if Dan Tortora, Ross Turetsky took steroids, we're not going to become the home run king. I'm the first one to say you're damn right I would be. You will still have to have natural born gifts and talents. I can't throw 100 miles an hour like Roger Clemens just because I take steroids. But these are great players who are at a Hall of Fame level without it. Then you give them this advantage, they're unstoppable. They're basically like the Monstars in Space Jam. It's not fair. It's not an even playing field. And it basically destroys the integrity of the game. And I know people are like, integrity. Do we want to become the WWE? Do we want to become pro wrestling where it's staged and fake? No, we don't want to do that. The part of the thing we love about live sports is you never know what's going to happen. With pro wrestling, yeah, they get hurt, and it's real at times, some of the things they're doing, and they're very talented athletes, but you know the outcome. It's all for show. You don't want baseball and football and any of those major sports to become that because it takes the love of the game away, that you don't know what's going to happen. Instead, you get a stage show like WWE Pro Wrestling. So let's not do that. I think this is the only thing that you kind of teach future generations, get steroids out of baseball, and I think that's what you have to do. It's tough love, but I think in the end you have to do it. I know it stinks. These are the best of the best. A-Rod, Bonds, Clemens, McGuire, Sosa, these are some of the greatest players ever. They probably deserve to be the Hall of Fame if they would have done it clean. Manny Ramirez is another guy. Great career, over 500 home runs. It was Manny being Manny, such a lovable guy. But again, in the end, they caught him cheating. I think you have to play hardball, and you have to set an example for the next generations, for the next 12-year-old Little Leaguer in the Little World Series in Williamsport, so he doesn't try to cheat the game and risk his own life by taking these horrible drugs. It's tough, but I think you have to do it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, just let them in, and just have a little warning on the plaque that, oh, he cheated. That's not enough. And first of all, it would be weird to put on a plaque. This guy might have cheated. That's weird. In the end, like I said, they're not being erased from baseball. People remember them. They have pictures of them in the Hall of Fame. They have their bats and gloves and balls that they used.
Yeah.
Just don't let them in. And I think that's what you have to do. And I think the writers did the right thing. It was a tough decision. They had to do it. I know they're like, oh, they're on their soapbox. The writers are trying to have too much power. They did the right thing. Now, let's just see if the veteran players down the road, when some of their younger generational players who might love Barry Bonds, maybe they give it and eventually he gets in, whether it's while he's alive or after he passes on many years from now. Who knows? Maybe eventually they let everyone in. But right now, I think the writers did what they had to do, and now it's going to be up to the veteran committee down the road if they decide to change their mind.
Yeah, and I think where we're at right now, seeing this, it's hard to believe that, Bonds and Clemens on the final year of their ballot, and that Sammy Sosa got literally almost nothing, 73 votes, only 18.5% compared to Big Papi, who got 77.9%. So, we're in a place right now where, guys are going to be erased from baseball. The guys that saved baseball are going to be erased from baseball. And I just went through the Hall of Fame a few months ago with my dad, and going through the Hall of Fame on Father's Day and being able to see all this, I can honestly tell you it was weird for me to see all the Pete Rose information and Sammy Sosa and Roger Clemens. Like, they're not in the Hall of Fame, but they're talked about everywhere. Pete Rose is all over the Hall of Fame, and there's even these digital boards that they put in the middle of these rooms that say to you, do you think that Pete Rose deserves to be in? and like you can vote and stuff, and it's like, and like the Hall of Fame is almost like laughing at him because they're like, hey, 80% of the people that came through the Hall of Fame this year say that Pete Rose doesn't deserve it. Like, and they're putting these stats out while you're walking by, like, oh, just so you know, there's other people that think that he shouldn't be here. So I think, to me, it's very weird to say this person cheated and we're not going to let him in. However, their baseball's here, their bats here, their jerseys here, their pictures here, but they're not here. So, I mean, it's just weird. But I will tell you, my favorite part of the Hall of Fame is taking a picture next to my favorite pitcher of all time, and that's my dude, Randy Johnson. So I did get to do that.
6'10" Sasquatch out there dominating people, and he murdered, I think, a pigeon that got his way in a spring training game.
Yes.
It's not his fault. The pigeon came right in his line of sight. This dude threw over 100 miles an hour, imploded on impact. I felt bad, but I also laughed out loud when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. To this day, it happened in 2001, so 21 years ago. It's insane to see that clip that he obliterated a pigeon who decided to fly in his path of his baseball.
Well, and the other thing too is they tell you not to touch the plaques, and I touched every single one of them of any notoriety.
Well, I spread probably COVID around the whole place when I went there. I didn't even go when it was COVID time, but I'm sure I spread things that are still there.
No, you spread pink eye because that's what you do. So
That's what I do.
I'll never forget you doing that. You doing that like Dave Chappelle. You did like the Rick James "Give It to Me, Baby" motion, that slow hand motion, and you're like, Dan, come over and get some pink eye. So. But the reality to me, I did. I told my dad, I'm like, I'm touching everything. I touched all of the plaques because you know what? They touched them. You know what I mean? It's like they touched those plaques. And Hank Aaron touched that. You know what I mean? Like there's guys that got voted in, they got to hold that, and I wanted to touch it. So, I all the Yankees and all the, and by the way, if they made just a Yankees wing of the Hall of Fame, there'd be like 72 on a line, and
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And you got some of the all-time greats: the Mantle, DiMaggio, Phil Rizzuto, Reggie Jackson, of course, Ruth Gehrig. Now Derek Jeter's in. I'm like, Derek Jeter's my all-time favorite player growing up. I still everyone considers Aaron Judge. Basically, I told my daughter who loves Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is basically what Derek Jeter was for us growing up. If you're a Yankee fan, like Derek Jeter is like a god for us Yankee fans for all the championships, all the things he did for New York, and now Aaron Judge has kind of become that.
Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Wake Up.
Who knows? But and then of course Ken Griffey Jr. I would put the hat backwards. He was the Michael Jordan of baseball. Even though his teams kind of stunk sometimes for the Mariners, he played with A-Rod and Randy Johnson, all those great players. They never won a World Series together, but Griffey made baseball look cool. He had such a sweet swing, such a fluid motion, swinging from the left-handed batter's box, and he flipped the hat backwards, and he made it look cool. And he sold cleats and sneakers. Usually baseball players, no one wants to buy a baseball player's sneakers. Maybe their cleats, but not their sneakers. Some people bought Ken Griffey Jr. sneakers like he was Michael Jordan, and he kind of transcended baseball. So Griffey is one of my all-time favorites. It stunk that he got hurt a lot. He still had an amazing career. He hit over 600 home runs, even with all the injuries.
It's really cool that you mentioned that because I forgot about that. People bought Ken Griffey sneakers like they bought Jordans. Like, not as much, but like they treated him like Jordan. And it's so cool that you made mention of something like that. But no, man, it's crazy where we are right now in baseball. Hopefully there's not a lockout. There's not a strike. Hopefully this stuff ends and they can figure out how to play nice together and actually care about the fans for once because that's who they rely on, yet they don't give them the credit that they deserve. So we've opened up a can here with Ross. We've talked about baseball. I didn't know where we were going to go. We jumped right into the strike, right into the lockout, right into the history, right into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And this morning, bringing reality to you all that as of right now, there's not going to be a Barry Bonds, a Roger Clemens, a Sammy Sosa. They're done. They're not getting in the Hall. So just kind of interesting to see something like that. But Ross, as always, I appreciate you. I love you, your family. And I look forward to talking with you soon because this was just a precursor to what we were going to do, and we already blew it up with baseball. So I appreciate you being here. We took the seams off the baseball, so I definitely appreciate you being a part of the show. And thank you for not bringing tar to it and not chewing tobacco through this episode.
Oh, absolutely. I love baseball, and you know how much I love baseball. I know your grandpa's. Your late great grandfathers loved baseball as well. We're big Yankee fans, so I know it's in your blood as much as you love football and basketball and all those other sports. Baseball was a party since a young age, and that's what it was like for me. I didn't have the parents who taught me to love baseball, I just fell in love with the game, and I love the stats, and I'm a stat geek, and that's become so big with Moneyball analytics now. And I'm excited to cover baseball for Penn State Scranton in college. Our alma mater, Marywood University, as long as the weather holds up, supposed to play a doubleheader on the road against Penn State Brandywine this Sunday, February 20th. A doubleheader in the afternoon. So follow that, I'm sure, on the Marywood Pacers athletic website. I'm sure you'll be posting about it. I know you talked to their head coach, Jason Teal, who's only the third Marywood baseball coach ever, because basically my baseball coach, Joe Ross, who was a great coach, a great leader, and a kind of father figure for me, he was there forever, founded the team in 95 and then finished up in 2008 when I was done. Then Jerry Davis, Coach Davis, who was his longtime assistant, became the head coach, and now Jason Teal was a great player back in the early 2000s from Scranton. He's now the coach, and I have Joe Diskin and Ricky Clifford are his assistants. I coached and played with them, so I'm very excited about another season of Marywood baseball. So no matter what, we have college baseball, Marywood, Penn State Scranton, local college baseball, Division I baseball starts today. MLB Network catch. There's going to be a doubleheader, I think, at 3 and 7 o'clock. We get college baseball. And then minor league baseball is going to happen with our Rail Riders and Syracuse Mets. So hopefully we'll go to some minor league games, and maybe go to your niches, Lorelai's 5th birthday party at the Rail Riders this year. We're going to try to do and get to see her throughout the first pitch like the champ she is. So she plays t-ball, and her coach, and just love it. I'm going to teach my kids to love baseball and all that, and bonding with them. And then hopefully the lockout ends and people come to their senses and we have baseball. But we only have 10 days to come to that agreement, or else we lose games, which stinks. But either way, college, high school, college, little league, minor league baseball, we will be watching. And I'm very glad we got to talk about baseball today. I can talk about baseball all day long. So when you go up at 3 a.m., I'll start talking about baseball. So I love it. And I know my wife sometimes tells me enough with the baseball talk. It's baseball season. As soon as football season ends, as soon as the LA Rams won that Super Bowl, it's usually they say the floor is yours. Baseball season has begun. Spring training is supposed to start. There was a little hole in my heart that spring training was not going to start this year once the Super Bowl was over because of the pettiness of the lockout. So hopefully this will end. And now that football is over, I know there's going to be USFL minor league football in April, which is nice. It's something. I want my baseball, and hopefully it comes back soon.
Yeah, and I honestly think, I think, fans right now, and I got to go back to what I did at the beginning of the show. Fans right now feel like Moon Knight. They honestly are waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, saying, "I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams." So hopefully, and by the time it comes out in March, hopefully there'll be a season. It's supposed to be March 31st. Moon Knight's supposed to come out before that on Disney+. So hopefully by the time the Moon Knight comes out, we'll have a deal done. And in the meantime, Ross, we'll just be the vigilantes of baseball. So I appreciate you. I love you. I respect you. And I can't wait to talk with you soon about all things sports and life, and hopefully some good news in baseball.
All right, I hope so too. Maybe a deal will be done by the time we talk next week. Have a great weekend. Happy President's Day. Buy a mattress or whatever you do on President's Day. Take care. Enjoy your loved ones. Go through football withdrawals. I know it's tough without football this Sunday. First time in like 5 months without football. But we'll get through it together and have a great time. It's great to be on with you. And you have a great show, and you're doing such amazing work. So I'm so proud of you, buddy.
Thank you. And I'm really excited, man, that I got to get I got my new car yesterday. So technically it's around President's Day. So I did do something big. I got a car. So
I like it. Mazel tov to you. And I'm very excited for you with your new wheels.
Yeah, so l'chaim. So I'm all up in the business. So, but I appreciate.
You're an honorary Jewish. I'm Jewish. You're an honorary Jewish person. That's be friends with with me and some other big Jewish people in your life. So you can say it. I'll give you the go ahead. I sanction what you're saying.
It's really nice to find out on February 18th, 2022, that I'm considered an honorary Jewish person. So
hey, you're welcome to the tribe. So I welcome you in. If you want in, you want a piece of it, you can celebrate Hanukkah or Purim with us any day.
All right, well, good stuff. So I appreciate it very much. And say hi. I hear him in the background. Say hello to my niches.
My little 2-year-old boy keeps saying, "I want chocolate." He's become a chocolate fiend. He wants more and more of his Valentine's Day chocolate, and he's getting crazy right now.
Well, you tell my niches, Lorelai and LJ, I said what's up, and I love them too, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
I definitely will. You take care.
All right, man, take care. And coming from Ross Turetsky here, a fellow alum of Marywood University, a student athlete of Marywood University history, a brother of mine, and the father of my niches. If you don't know what that means, you got to go back and watch Boy Meets World. But a father of my niches, Lorelei and LJ. We'll take our final step aside at today's broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will wrap up the week right after this, where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Thank you so much for being with us.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They are proudly serving our community in so many different ways with their app on the Google Play and Apple App Store that you can download by typing in Millhouse Market. And once you have that, you have everything at your fingertips, the entire menu and all the ingredients to each of the menu items at Millhouse Market, as well as a map on there that will take you from wherever you are and give you direct location directions to the Millhouse Market from wherever you're at. So right there on the Millhouse Market app, you have directions, you have the entire menu, contactless pay, you can tip on the app, and it'll give you an approximate time to the minute of when your food should be ready. You can pick it up inside or go right to the drive-through window, grab your food, and go, making it very easy, very simple for each and every single one of us. Inside their bistro dining area changes the menu every single week, so you can try something new while you sit inside and stay warm and enjoy your time there. And of course, their general store, which has local products from local companies, including local jewelry and clothing, as well as children's toys, soaps, syrups, honeys, and so much more there at the Millhouse Market, supporting the community, supporting one another, and building up the community of what all started in Pulaski with their sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. They're ingrained in our community, ingrained in our taste buds, and they are second to none when it comes to the food that they have, the way that they do it, and the service that they provide. Rebecca Elford and her entire team have been incredible, and they have navigated through some of the toughest times with us because they love our community and because they've always been there. Your neighbor is on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every time. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for watching and listening. Cafe Kubal for being our studio partner. Of course, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. I want to thank Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. I want to thank Juanita Ward for being a part of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And of course, I want to thank the people at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. I want to wish Jim Rusikowski and his team a very safe travel to the South Bend, and God bless you all. And as always, may there be a cure for ALS for you, Jimmer, and for everybody. May there be a cure and a miracle for everything, no matter how big or how small it may seem. May every prayer be answered. May every insecurity have peace. May every disease have an end. And may every soul have an opportunity at a second chance. Please, God, cure those who need a cure. Whatever that cure may be, God, please be the cure for us all. Top Dog of the Week, honoring Levell Sanders, officially becoming the head coach and no longer the interim coach of Binghamton men's basketball. Big shout out to him and the Bearcats, and can't wait to see what he's going to be doing. Top Dog of the Week, presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse. And a big shout out to my guy and fellow Marywood alum, Ross Turetsky, for joining me to talk about Major League Baseball, lockout and strike history, where we currently are at with baseball, as well as the Hall of Fame and what looks to be the end of Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa trying to get in. So big thanks to everybody that's part of the show and for all the baseball talk we got to have today with Ross. Of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt, and of course on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into our archive, and you can find them on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and iHeartRadio, simply by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Of course, a big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, where you can order at any time by going to maandpazpopcorn.com. That's maandpazpopcorn.com. You can order today to get your favorites. And, of course, a big thanks to Avicoli's, Progressive Dental, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, the Millhouse Market, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Lemoyne Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College in Syracuse, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is your proud multimedia marketing partner exclusively of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's fins up all day, every day with Lemoyne College, and we appreciate everything that they do. Every first and third Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we feature AD and DT episodes with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, and every second and fourth Wednesday with the Dolphin Dive, which has student athletes, staff members, coaches, alumni, and future players of Lemoyne telling their stories on why they chose Lemoyne, what it means to them to be a Dolphin, and so much more about their journey and personal life. So we thank each and every single person that's been featured, and we look forward to showcasing so many more as we continue to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of Lemoyne College with the Dolphins. And of course, we ask you to join us for all of our videos on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt by clicking subscribe and by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It's Pacer Pride on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month. The Marywood Mania Takeover with 4 coaches on site, on location in the Hall of Fame room at Marywood University, overlooking the Insulaco Arena's athletic facility, just happened this week, and you can go back and watch that and all of our specials by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. You can also click on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com for all of our shows, and of course, make sure you go to marywoodpacers.com. Every Friday, exclusive Pacer Pride content is here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can watch all those videos back, like I said, on YouTube and on wakeupcalldt.com's Marywood page. Get more information at marywoodpacers.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Syracuse Bobcats. The Bobcat Buzz had its inaugural episode on February 1st, 2022. We had our agreement put into place, and right after that, we had our inaugural sit-down roundtable discussion with Athletics Director Nick Dmitrievsky, who's also the men's soccer head coach and a national champion, followed along with Alex Grigorita, the assistant Athletics Director at Bryan and Stratton College in Syracuse, and the women's soccer head coach who just won a national championship in 2021, as well as head men's basketball coach Danny Frisina, head women's basketball coach Clay Gagan-Sherman, and coming up for the first time ever, the baseball program with their first ever head coach, Sean Peak, all joining me for a discussion about the Bobcats and to have some fun with one another in rapid fire. Make sure you go back and watch that video on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and subscribe. And of course, by checking out the video that is on the new page on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, BSCSYR, which stands for Bryan and Stratton College, Syracuse. Make sure you click on that new page today. And of course, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com for more information. I did want to make note to go to LeMoyneDolphins.com as well for more information about the Dolphins, and I can't wait to share that all with you. For that being said, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I thank you for watching and listening from the Café Kubal Studios. Fill your cup up right by going to 3501 James Street today, as well as by going to 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, as well as 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in Liverpool, in North Syracuse, New York, at Sweetheart Corners for their drive-through location. And of course, you can go to 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, to get my nachos Monday through Saturday at PB&J's Lunchbox and get a cup of Joe from Cafe Kubal there as well. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I have a fantastic special coming to you this Monday for President's Day that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be February 21st. You know I love my favorite number 21, and this special is unlike anything I've ever done on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay tuned on our social media for who's going to be on, because they're making the announcement coming up today, and I can't wait to share that with you. In the meantime, God bless, no stress, do your best. Be good to each other, be good to yourself, live life to the fullest, and always be thankful to God for every breath you get to take.